Oh, hello.
This could be my new start. Just wanted to catch everyone up. I'm struggling with long videos like this. I am doing like thoughts, vlogs, whatever you want to call it, over on the Tiki Talk if you'd like to check those out. I do post regularly, like on here and on my social media shorts, and I do little snippets like that, but this move really messed me up, I can't lie. It made me lose my groove, but I've now realized it's for a purpose. So I kind of wanted to give you guys a little update. My husband's doing really well at his job, and the whole thing with this job is he has to stay at a job for a year so that we can make a loan work for us to be able to continue on in our future. And it's looking more and more like this job is going to be worth it, especially for his employer, his other employees, and his customers, and like what he's doing. And it's actually going pretty well, all things considered. And even during some struggles during their video, or this like, hiring, not hiring, which I'm sure is a struggle everywhere, but it's a big time struggle here. It's still going really well, actually, even with getting extra hours. I'm still babysitting. I'm only babysitting one family every other week, a few days, but that's, nice for something. I am door dashing as well. I attempted a babysitter, but not really working out, which is going to be a video for after this to talk about how isolating it's been, because it really is. I love being my kid's safe person, but my oldest was not like this. And I really, really can only rely on, and I don't take away from the babysitter or anyone. Like, it's really hard. Like, they give me and Josh a run for our money, especially when we're by ourselves. That's why, like, even when we're both home, it's still hard to get stuff done unless we make a serious priority of it and basically accept that one of us is going to be taking on the two kids by ourselves. Like, it's hard to get things done because you're just happy to have the relief of somebody else to help you with two kids. Like, it's two fucking kids, and they're turning more and more into toddlers. And so it's been a struggle, and I feel very thankful that they adapted to Josh so well, and that, we both can be a safe person. But because of the colic, because of start of life, because of just them in general, like, they just cannot handle strangers, like, at all. They don't even do well, like, out in public when, like, random strangers, like, will try to get really up close with them. They were a lot better than they were. Before, it was like they saw someone and they literally panicked. And now it's like they can handle small interactions, and obviously that's because they're getting more exposed and older, but it's a slow process. And I know that kids like this exist. I don't know many personally, and it's like so funny to me because I was, as a babysitter, because there was actually a kid growing up that I watched on and off when his mom went on a date night, that was like this and would cry almost the whole time. And I, like, it's just a constant process of distraction. You just make the loop of all the distractions you can do. Go outside, play with toys, change the movie, do a game, do something like that. But they were a toddler and they struggled, and it was a little bit easier because even when I got him, he was still able to talk. So you could say, Mommy will be back soon, let's go do this. And that was kind of processed at least a little bit. So like this age is just so hard because all they do is scream. They don't, they do have a vocabulary, they do understand, but not to that extent. And now we're getting into the age of stranger danger, and we're getting into the age of huge mental leaps because of mental development, which David was like, that was when he only wanted me, was those times. And it was hard to drop off at babysitters, had a hard time with babysitters, was very clingy, because it's a lot going on and they're exhausted. And with him, I was frustrated, but I understood. And with two, it's like I'm losing my top. Like, I just am like, why are you like this? Like, I could just see myself get so frustrated, and I don't get to the point of abuse, no, but like definitely getting frustrated at a child that doesn't even understand frustration, which of course is human of me and very understanding based on my situation, but it's still kind of frustrating even as a parent to be doing that. I gotta go feed Dave. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole in the next video. But that's what I've been going through. I love my babysitter kids. I would watch them 24/7. They're some of my favorite. They get along with David well. They get along with the twins well. They listen to me. We have a great time. perfect. We have great communication too, which is awesome. So even if they're having a struggle or they need something different or things like that, we can talk now. And it's nice because we know each other already. So things at the house are way more civil because of my struggles with my babysitter. My sister is now been way more involved with the twins, helping me out a little bit better, which she was doing before, and now we kind of gotten over, I guess, the uncomfortable we move in together and she's mad stuff. I am very struggling with my mother right now. There's no lie here. I've said how many times she's an alcoholic. She's my active alcoholic. That's, no shame, no nothing, whatever. She's hiding it. That's on her. If you've ever been around her, you'd know instantly. But she's still, there's a lot of things that I've just come to, I don't know, agreement, I guess, that I can't do anything about, and that's just the way it is. And one of them being her, or I'm just crazy constantly. God. I swear, I think it's David's video. Anyways, her addiction is just a lot. It's a lot to watch. She's drinking a lot on a regular basis, like day in and day out. And it gets in the way of conversations. It gets in the way of questions, answers, communication, period, which clearly makes sense why I have such communication issues. That's come clear. It's also come clear why I hate passiveness. But I have said on TikTok and other things, I really have come to realize, essentially in the last week, that everything behind my life had to happen in order for me to heal myself. I have struggled doing it on my own. I'm sure I could have done it faster, but this is the path I chose to take and continue to keep choosing, which is really getting my face rubbed in my fucking trauma and my faults and my shit and being able to deal with it at, head on like that. And it happened, it started happening with my best friends, to stopping my addiction and really realizing why I did that, to meeting my husband, to falling in love with him and kind of going through that borderline like horribleness, and then realizing why I do that, getting my diagnosis, having my son, wanting to be better for him, slowly getting better over time, like going to therapy, taking medication, getting proper diagnosis, doing my own research, finding Al-Anon, falling off the wagon constantly, learning to pick back up, realizing this is the waves of fucking life. And I would have never been able to buy a house or get a career or anything if I didn't deal with this. Like, that's so unrealistic. These people that jump in and do that don't often succeed or end up being burnt out pretty quick, especially when they had as much shit that I did, totally undealt with, very unaware. And no motivation to change. So I hated for a really long time that I've been financially so horrible. I hated for a really long time that I never was able to find my own place, save up the money to be able to get my own place, make my credit good, any of these things. And I don't know, it just like really clicked in my head that if I didn't do that, if I even tried to do what we're doing now by taking things seriously, 2 years ago, fuck no, it would have never happened. Not a year, I'd say 2 years ago, because a year I definitely was not a slow process, but the mental wanting to do better is there, because my husband now takes a priority of jobs. He doesn't call in. He realizes that he has to stick it out at this job for a year, no matter what, so that we can get what we want and do what we want. Paying the bills first now. Doing less, having less because of that, working more to have more, coming to the agreement that I need to figure out income as well, and also understanding that we have the twins and these other things that we have to communicate, getting better at our communication, realizing that we need to go to therapy again to figure out how to communicate when things are hard and emotions are had, because that's still where our fault seems to be, where we've been able to change, really realize that our marriage was worth it, sticking it out for that. Now we want to, that's what we figured out, honestly, in the last 3 years, I can't even lie. And then seeing that we can do it with barely any help. Like when we went to Farmington, there was help, but not that much. Like, we had to go to public assistance to be able to still live there. We had no car, use the bus. We had to rely on a system, which is a great reality for what we want to do in our future, because we can do it with very little. And that was actually some of the best times him and I had was being in Farmington, away from all these influences, and kind of only having each other to blame for things. Did we have issues? Of course we had moments, but they were never serious. They were never crazy. We were not being influenced by other things. And it really, I think for him and for me, like, to realize, like, this is what we want better, we want to get out, we can do this, we're ready now. Like, we needed to do that to get through. And another thing, especially for my husband, is the shedding of people. Like, he had to really realize that these people are not worth being in his life, and we don't need to be near them. And people that we aren't near will come and visit. Like, I have a long-term best friend in Arkansas, and that shit is forever to drive to. And even being a few hours closer in the area that we're trying to move to, it makes a difference, one, for driving, but two, it's the willingness to never go without, the texting, the conversations with each other to make sure it's okay. Like, that doesn't go away with the other people in my life. Like, if I moved away, that would never stop. I don't see them on a regular basis. And two of them I live in the same town with. Like, yeah, the one I see constantly in town, but it's never like, let's sit and hang out, let's do that. It's just constant conversation. We have a group text that never ended, and that wouldn't end just because I moved somewhere else. And they would use it as a vacation. They would use it to make sure they stay in our lives, and they want to know what's going on in my marriage. They want to know what's going on in my family. They want to help, and if I needed help, I know I could reach out to them. And same with knowing that we have a safe space to come back as well, semi-safe, but having a safe space to be able to come back as well is always great. But we can do that, and we weren't ever going to be able to do that until now, until we did all of the work that got here. And like I said, of course it probably could have been shorter, but that's not how I roll, I guess. I love to be a stubborn bitch. But I'm really realizing that, and that part of life feels so good. It makes it so that I'm gonna get back on top of my therapy. I'm gonna go to make a point to figure out how to go to Al-Anon regularly here at their home meeting, so it's in person and I'm away from my kids and doing something great for myself. Make a point to reach out to my sister and say, I need help with this, get through the storage, make sure we're putting money aside, you know, like, we're gonna get our ducks in a row, and there's no way we're not, because we're motivated by bad shit happening here to realize that we can't live here long term. It's never gonna work out, and the faster we can get out, the better. And also realizing, like, we can make it anywhere, and we will get through, and it is worth it for us to be together as a family. It was awesome. It really was. Like, I can't even lie. But you know, I'm dealing that with the twins, which is mentally a lot. I'm exhausted. There's a lot of sleep issues because of their age and, like, what's going on with them. And I'm just missing my dad like crazy. Like, honestly, it comes in waves right now. I'm having a kind of a, I guess, panicky day, I guess. I don't know. It's because I was away from my kids for so long yesterday. My twins. Josh and I went on a date, and then we went to the movies to see Inside Out 2, which also stab right in the chest, but so necessary, so you're not your anxiety, mother trucker. Oh, such a good movie. But because of that, I feel so refreshed. So today I had all this energy. I got all my cleaning almost all the way done, and I'm getting motivated for my content. And so it's like, oh, okay, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. And like, slowly things are working on my content and online work, which always feels good, because that's another thing I'm manifesting. We can also make this work anywhere we go if I can have some sort of income on my phone. Even if Josh finds something else, you know, if necessary, when we move. So we do have a consistent job. Like, if I'm constantly making money on here, like, we always have these two sources of income. And that is just so important with 3 kids and trying to have your own place. And now you're responsible for the unexpected and, you know, things like that. So that's it. We're focusing on a land. That's the biggest thing, is land for us. If it has a house on it, cool. But location. Because what we want to be able to do is have land that we can live on, be semi-homesteaders, because we do love our electronics. Have a place for David to be able to do everything his heart can dream of. Same with the twins. have a space that we can give to them that's a perfect home base for our entire family. They can grow on it if they want to, and they can inherit it eventually. But we want it something where our family, our friends, have a safe space somewhere else, the community we've always craved for, and, you know, our little culty cult that we've always wanted, but no weird stuff, you know what I mean? Just that, like, commune, that's a better word, not cult. Commune. But either way, that means something to us. That's a calling for us, and now we are gonna do whatever that happens to make that. We're kind of following the guidelines of the federal first-time home buyers loan, but I really got to do my research in the next week to see. I'm really wanting to reach out to some realtor down in the state we want to move in, and someone to assist us on what we need to be able to afford a loan that doesn't mind land and understand the requirements. And is it even possible? Like, can we get, because we can only do this if we can do the first time home buyer, you know, grants and things like that. That's what makes sense. It's less money to have to give and stuff. Less credit to have. We're working on it. It's working. It will be very good in a year, but it's just, yeah. So that's kind of the update on here. I'm decided, because of how many videos I make on the Clock app, TikTok, I am going to do an update once a month on here, and then every other video I am going to post a vlog, I don't fucking know, chat, ramble, give gabs, that's what I'm gonna call them, give gabs, of just what I'm thinking about that week. This one specifically after this is going to be about having kids that you can't really get a babysitter for, and have very little people willing to take them on, whether because you have multiples or because they have, you know, they're very emotional, very loud, they're screamers, whatever. Go deep into that then. But thanks guys for being here and supporting me.